Hello everybody, Ankilo Inc. here with Joe. Happy New Year's. I hope you all had a good Christmas, or, whatever holiday you celebrate. I know for me, I just dwell in the basement all year round. I had a wonderful Christmas. The highlights were a brand new mic, if you can or cannot tell. Frankly, I'm not entirely sure. And socks. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the highlights. I got a bunch of money otherwise. I did it. I finished all the cards in set 1. All 104 of them. And this is going to be the last card showcase video. And then I'm going to make a special video showcasing, going through every card again and doing a bit of a deep dive now that I know, what the actual role is for a card. So let's get through these pretty quick because we got a lot to go through. So we ended off last time with Summer Ent, and Summer Ent actually has a silver boost. The only silver Ent plant, Silver Summer Ent. It's a fruit plant. It's got very great stats. It's a very good card, or very strong card. When played, search your deck for an Ent plant. Show it to your opponent and add it to your hand. Shuffle your deck after. All Ent plants cost 1 less energy while this plant is on the field. So the entire purpose of Summer Ent and its silver boost is just Ent support. It's to get more Ents on the field, and it's to, be able to play those Ents more effectively, because Ent cards require other Ent cards to be on the field in order for their abilities to work, and they tend to be high-end expensive cards. Moving on, we have Almontrodon. It's a Dimetrodon, if you can't tell. I wanted to do another dinosaur, but I didn't want to do, for a reason, I didn't want to do something like a T-Rex or something like that. So I just went with Dimetrodon. It's just a stat card for the nuts, for the roots. It's got basic stats, no ability. It's just another 2 cost for the roots. Then we have Jam Slime, one of my favorites. When played, gain 20 attack and 5 defense for every card in your hand. Okay, so if you have 5 cards in your hand after you play Jam Slime, it's getting 100 attack and 25 defense. When played, this loses 5 health for every card in your opponent's hand. So let's say they have 3 cards in their hand when you play it, it would lose 15 health. So Jam Slime, it's really easy because it's really easy to draw cards. So it's fairly easy to get high stats. But if your opponent has a lot of cards, then you're gonna lose that health. And Jam Slime does not have a lot of health. If your opponent has 2 cards, which is completely reasonable, they can easily play a Dynamo Seed and just get rid of it. But, if you can manage to get off a Jam Slime when you have a bunch of cards and your opponent has none, you're going to get a powerhouse of a card. Next up, my absolute favorite card in the entire game, Mint Treat. It's a trap. During your opponent's turn, after you play this, you can play any plant card from your hand to the field. Okay, it's a free card. I was hesitant to put free cards in the game, but I made Worm Fungus, which swaps the attack and defense of the equipped plant, and Rainbow Mado, which allows you to change the type of a plant, so a root to a veggie. I made these 3 cards free because they have pretty niche abilities, and having to pay even 1 for them just was never worth it. But now that they're free, they're extremely easy to get off. You play them whenever you want. Mint Treat, you still have to pay for the plant. So it's not like you can easily play a level 4 or 3 plant. When traps are kind of hard to use, they tend to be really good, but they have to be because you have to have energy left over from your turn. Moving on, we have Blessing of the Ents. If you have at least 3 Ent plants on your side of the field, you just gain 2 points. So there's 2 other cards that just allow you to get points. Besides this one, the other one being Raz Spider, which if you equip something to it, it gives you 2 points. And there's another one somewhere. I've lost my train of thought. Oh, so Blessing of the Ents, it's a hard card to use. It costs 5, and you have to have 3 Ents on the field. So this is a high cost card. The thing is, though, you can have 2 copies of it. The other ways to get points, I believe, there you can only have 1 copy in your deck, but this one you can have 2. So you can easily, get 4 points with this, with 2 of these cards. Then we have Frosty. He's got pretty alright stats. You can pay 1 energy to stop an enemy plant from attacking for 1 turn. If you use this ability, return this plant back to your hand. I think I'm going to change it to like when your opponent makes an attack, you can pay 1 energy to stop it and then return it to your hand. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, that's Frosty. And it's got a silver boost. It's like a little teapot. There's the handle on the left and whatever. When played, no plants can attack until your next turn. You can pay 1 energy to draw or discard a card. Your opponent must do the same. So Silver Frosty is just kind of a nuisance card, I would say. You do something, your opponent has to copy, and it's just there to be a nuisance. We have Blast Bloom next, which is the boss plant for the Bloom archetype. This plant costs 1 less energy for every Bloom plant on the field. So if you have 2 Bloom plants on the field, which is pretty easy, they are pretty cheap. Then this goes down to a 2 cost. While on the back line, if this plant were to be killed, you can remove a Bloom plant from your side of the field instead. So as long as you have other Bloom cards on the field, he can be kept alive easily. And he's the strongest Bloom plant there is with 70 power. And he's got a lot of bulk too, 40 defense and 100 health. It's not amazing for a level 4, but the thing is you can get his cost, lowered by having other Bloom plants. We then have Tulip Trumpet, which, despite not having Bloom in its name, is a part of that archetype, and it's a Bloom support card. And it can only be equipped to Bloom plants, and the equipped plant can use their ability regardless of where they're placed on the field. The equipped plant also gains 10 attack and defense. So, you're only allowed to equip this to Bloom cards, which is kind of annoying. But, I mean, you're getting an extra 10 attack, 10 defense. Obviously, the main target is probably going to be Blast Bloom. So he goes to like 80, 50, 100, so that's, even better. It is cheap too, it's only 1, so it's easy to play Tulip Trumpet. And again, you can use the plant. You really want to play Bloom cards in the backline anyways, like Silver Delphi Bloom and Delphi Bloom or Music Bloom. You want to play those in the back because, they're not really attack, they're not aggressive. They've got pretty alright defense, but their abilities are what, you want them alive so that you can use their abilities. Poison Toucan. He's got Poison Toucan. He's actually got some pretty okay stats. The berries tend surprisingly have some beefy cards. Once per turn, you can pay 2 energy to stop your opponent from evolving plants for 1 turn. So he's just a nuisance card, he's got a pretty hefty price for his ability and his playing his card, but you're stopping your opponent from evolving plants, so you can get a lot of value out of that if you're lucky. Then we have Decay. This card costs the same as the target, minus 1 energy. If the target has no energy costs, then this costs 4 energy. The target plant loses any abilities it has. So what's that saying? So let's say I use this on a garlic onion. So it would cost 2, because it costs the same, but then minus 1, so it would only cost 1 to be played on to garlic onion, and it would just remove its ability. And that's what the star means in the where the star cost should go on a floral card. If a floral card has a star for its cost, that means its cost is dependent on what the target is or dependent on other situations. Then we have Zombicide, which is a pretty awkward card. He's got a lot of health, but not really so much attack or defense, and he's just a stat card. He's a level 3 stat card, and not very good, but he's got a super... First of all, I really love how Zombicide turned out. Oh, I changed This card used to be called Zombicide, now it's called Spore Ant, and I gave Zombicide to this guy because, you know, he's a zombie, so it makes more sense. So he's, he's got double the stats of the base form. He's got 150 health, lots of health, low defense and attack, average defense. You can pay 3 energy to have your opponent discard a card from their side deck. They get to choose the card that is discarded. So real quick, I'm going to explain what the side deck is. So a new mechanic that I added is the side deck. I did just steal it from Yu-Gi-Oh, so, you know, and I'm admitting it, so I get to do it. No, I'm just kidding. So silver boosts are now put into the side deck. You can have 3 cards in your side deck. You can still have 2 copies of a silver boost, so you can still have 2 Dilopho Bloom, 2 silver Melon Broods, whatever. It's just you can only have 3 now. So instead of going in your main deck, they go into the side deck. So whenever you draw the base form, so let's say you draw a base Melon Brute, and then you play the Melon Brute, you can then instantly silver boost it. The reason why I did this is just to make silver boosting a lot easier, because I noticed in my games, my testing games with Devin, that we would almost never use silver boosts because they were so hard to use, or so hard to play, because you needed to draw the base form and the silver form. You know, you have to have 2 cards in order to play one, essentially. I also changed up the board. I don't know if I mentioned this. I probably didn't. I changed up how evolution, or where the evolutions are. So now you can play a plant and evolve in the same turn, because again, evolution wasn't very prevalent. You know, me and Devin weren't really using it. It's still not as prevalent as I would want it to be, but it happens enough to where I'm not complaining. And you can only, and it's like the silver boost where you can only evolve once per turn. So you have two choices of when you want to evolve, either your last action or your second action, but you can't do both actions as an evolution. It's one or the other. With silver boosting, you know, you either pay 1 star for like the weaker silver boosts, or 2 stars for the stronger silver boosts. But anyway, so that's all I just wanted to clear up real quick. The game is a lot more fun with that side deck, let me tell ya. Anyways, moving on to Squash Claps, the veggies finally have another option for a level 3 plant instead of Cabolder. Cabolder is still an amazing card, but Squash Claps does 70 damage. But Squash Claps, just a stat card, terrible defense, okay health, very good attack. Bloat Toad. Bloat Toad is a very special card. He's got 20 defense, 5 health, so he's very fragile. He's only a 1 cost, but any damaged plant attacked by this plant is instantly killed. So basically, Bloat Toad can't, first of all, he can't make direct attacks, which I'm going to specify here. He can't make direct attacks, and he can't attack plants that haven't been damaged, but as long as any plant has at least 5 damage done to them, Bloat Toad will instantly kill it. So like, let's say a Hydrapple. Let's say this Hydrapple has 90 health. He's taken 5 damage, okay? Let's say he was attacked by a Capped Golem, which has 50 attack. Okay, that would deal 5 damage to Hydrapple. So now that Hydrapple only has 90 health, Bloat Toad comes in and instantly kills the Hydrapple. So Bloat Toad is a hard card to kind of use. Most of the times you'll get a free kill with it, and then Bloat Toad itself will die. But you know, it's very good for sniping high health cards once you get just the tiniest amount of damage with him, or with something else. Alright, the next card, Smoke Aura. It's a 3 cost stat card for the flowers. It's got okay attack and okay stats in general. It's nothing too special, but it's just like an aggressive card for the flowers. You know, I say it's an aggressive card, but it's severely outmatched by, like, say, Squash Claps. The nice thing is, though, Smoke Aura has a silver boost, which greatly increases its stats. you know, that 90 attack power is really great because this plant ignores defense. I'll read his ability. When played, deal 20 damage to an enemy plant, ignoring defense. You can pay 1 energy to move this plant onto any available zone. This plant ignores defense. So, Smoke Aura and Silver Smoke Aura are an aggressive option for the flowers. Smoke Aura, it's kind of like a super strong Drillloon. Drillloon is just a 2-cost that you get to move around. But Smoke Aura is, first of all, it's a silver boost, so you get amazing, like really good stats. And you know, it ignores defense, so that's doing 90 direct damage, and you get to move it around. Like, this is a very good card to snipe enemy plants. So the reason why Silver Manti Mimic is somewhat useful, despite losing the ability of the Silver Boost, is because you can play any of your Silver Boosts with this card. So, you know, you're going to have 3 options per se in your side deck, and you draw Manti Mimic. So then you get to choose whichever one of the 3 Silver Boosts that you have to play. And sure, you know, they're not going to have their abilities, but like if you play a Silver Coconut, Coconut has no ability, despite being a Silver Boost. Fun fact, Silver Coconut and Zombicide are the only Silver Boosts to not have one-plate abilities, just because they didn't really need one. But like Silver Tater Lord, right? I mean, half the time his ability isn't even used. Like, he's got plenty of health anyways. He can shrug off like 3 hits. At least 3 hits. What am I kidding? He can shrug off like fucking 60 hits. So like not having that ability isn't like really devastating, right? Sure, some other plants you wouldn't want to use it, like Raz Spider. You know, the reason why you're playing Raz Spider, Silver Raz Spider, is to get rid of all equips on the field, and to get something equipped to Raz Spider so that you get to gain those 2 free points. And those are points, by the way, like game-winning points. Alright, then we have Silver Incarnation, which is a watch. Originally, it was supposed to be a ring, right? But then Devin said, oh, it's a watch. And I was like, yes, totally that. It can only be equipped to Silver Boost plants. If the equipped plant would be killed, remove this card instead and gain 2 energy. Sorry about that. It's supposed to be a 5 cost, not a star. So basically, you equip this to a Silver Boost, and when that Silver Boost dies, you discard this card instead, and you gain 2 energy. So it's like turning back the clocks. So while it's a very hard card to use, if you put it on a very fragile or a very important Silver Boost, you can get a lot of use out of it. Alright, moving on to the second to last card, we have Silver Disband. Okay, it's a trap card. When your opponent plays a Silver Boost plant, send it to the compost pile. This costs 3 if the target has 1 star, or 4 if the target has 2 stars. And that means, so this would cost, Silver Disband would cost 4 if used on a Silver Capped Golem, or 3 if used on a Silver Raz Spider. Oh, are you guys ready to see the strongest card in the entire game? I don't think you guys are ready. I mean, I genuinely don't think. Oh, you guys. Okay, you can stop yelling at me. I'm gonna show you the card, obviously. Troll Leaf, best card in the game. 10 out of 10, 20 out of 20, 1,000 out of 10. It's a 3 cost, right? For the amazing stats of 5 attack, 5 defense, and 5 HP. Nothing's getting through that. This is a wall of a wall. You know what's the best part? Doesn't even have an ability. Alright, enough joking around. Troll Leaf is designed, meant to be an awful card. In every set, there's going to be a troll rare. You know, just a card that, if these cards did have rarities, this card would be one of the rarer ones. And the whole point was, you know, you got trolled. Hence the name, Troll Leaf. So that's it. That's every card in set 1. So if you guys remember, I had the special format for like the second or third card showcase video. I decided to not do that because I was changing the cards so much, so you know you weren't getting the most up to date versions of those cards, and B, I wanted to wait till I had every card to do that, because it takes a lot of time to make it. Like, it took a lot of time to make that, so I wanted to make, or just do it all in one go and just have this one big video of just every card. I don't know if I'm gonna voice over it or if it's just gonna be a, just music in the background. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, you can look forward to that. I just need to make the rulebook, which I'm in the process of doing. And then I want to play 1 or 2 more rounds with Devin, and then I'm gonna release it on the Tabletop Simulator. So be looking forward to that, because once I release it on Tabletop Simulator, you guys will be able to play, and you guys can give me feedback, which cards are good, which cards need buffs, debuffs, and then maybe in the future, we can do like a tournament or something. Who knows? But yeah, that's all I wanted to say. I hope you guys had a wonderful Christmas, wonderful holidays, whatever you celebrate. I hope you guys had an amazing new year. Hopefully this year's better than the last 2. Frankly, I saw no difference, but again, I'm a basement gremlin, so anyways, that's it. Hope you guys have a nice night. Bye-bye.